بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا الشمس كورت.
The ninth month of the Islamic calendar is the month of fasting, the holiest period for the Islamic faith. This holy month is synonymous with sober reflection, forgiveness, and teachings of the Holy Quran. As part of activities to commemorate this year's Ramadan, the Lagos Education family organized Ramadan lectures. The Ramadan lectures highlight the importance of the 5 pillars of Islam, especially fasting. At the lecture organized by the Ministry of Education, guest lecturers emphasized on the need to imbibe hard work and godly living.
The students, the children, should go back to Quran and rehearse with their parents the message of Luqman to his son. If our students, our children, can inculcate all the messages Luqman passed to his son in these verses, I think our country will be safe, secured for all and sundry.
The event was spiced up with Quran recitation and quiz competition, with winners emerging and presented with gifts.
Bismillah, 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 in the name of Allah.
I thank the lecturer because he gave us the values and the tools that if you become the leader of this country, the tools that we use in tackling insecurity and making Nigeria a very secure nation for all and sundry. And also, we want to thank the organizer, the Ministry of Education, the Commissioner in particular, and the whole Ministry in general, that they have organized this type of seminar and a program for all students so that we'll be able to know the challenges in our country and the way to tackle them.
Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB, also organized its Ramadan lecture, where the chairman of the board, Honorable Wahab Alawiye King, urged pupils to be holy not only in the month of Ramadan, but at all times.
Ramadan preaches love, compassion, which are important for humanity. It is about love, it's about showing concern, it is about showing sympathy and emphasizing with other Muslim brothers. It is about showing love to your neighbors and every other Muslim across the world. This is what we need at this particular period when violence is here and there in our society. So we must continue to show love to one another.
Honorable Alawiye King added that the pupils should respect and obey rules, constituted authorities, and their parents as stated in the Holy Quran.
They must continue to obey their parents. They must continue to obey God, Allah first, obey their parents, and most importantly, constituted authority. And when we say constituted authority, it starts with the school, the teachers, the head teachers, and the society at large. So they must try to learn how to obey rules and regulations.
The theme for this year's edition is Treading the Path of Righteousness in the month of Ramadan, a lasting solution to social vices.
Listen to this question very well. Quran was revealed in the month of A, Muharram, B, Rajab, C, Ramadan, D, January.
Ramadan.
Allah
To the pupils, we want them to be good leaders, and as such, all they've had here today, in terms of the fear of God, in terms of respect for their parents and the elderly, and of course to worship God always, is one of the things I will implore them to take home and practice.
Ramadan is the month of mercy, forgiveness, happiness, and it's the month where we fast. I thank God for being today's winner of today's competition, and I thank the Lagos State government for giving me this type of opportunity.
Bismillah, 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 Bismillah.
At Education District 1, speakers stressed the need to emulate the teachings of Prophet Muhammad.
Those of us in the education sector, this is the time to show love, particularly to the indigent students, to teachers, to principals, to everyone. Let us emulate the teachings of Prophet Muhammad so that as we celebrate the month of Ramadan, the teachings will be with us and we must continue to uphold the teaching.
All the gain of Ramadan, we should not allow it to go just like that. Even after Ramadan, we should continue. And most especially, teaching the young ones is very, very essential because we have to be very, very worried of the future of the country. So if you don't give them a good moral, it may affect their future.
This is a period of forgiveness, period of Ramadan. It's also a period of blessing. It's a period where we have to change, improve on our attitude. Most especially our behavior, our attitude towards our job, molding the life of students to be good leaders.
The students showcased their Quranic recitation skills. Education District 2 was not left out as they also held their Ramadan lecture titled Dealing with the Challenges of Insecurity and Integrating Medicine Through Islam and Remedy to Pandemic.
Month of Ramadan is a month we have to abstain ourselves from food, from worldly things, and it's a special month not to only Muslim, to all of us, where you are able to share things together, show love to one another, and to have more respect to one another. We should listen to our leaders, we should pray for our leaders.
What we have today as COVID-19, if you can think about the solutions that government agencies are proffering, it is very germane to understand that the Prophet about 1,500 years ago has foreseen and proffered solution to a basic and important solution so as to curb the widespread, so as to control the extent of damage it is going to be.
At Education District 3, the Ramadan lecture was tagged Ramadan, the Hope in Time of Despair. This lecture featured teachings on the essence and beliefs of Islam. The teachings, which dwelled on the act of listening and obeying, had various schools from the Education District 3 in attendance, with prizes presented to outstanding students.
We are here to listen to our Imam. This is a period that we have series of lectures. We want to know the mind of God. What does Quran say? What should we do? How do we measure in the last 1 year? This is the time to reevaluate our work with God and mankind.
In the name of Allah, Bismillah, 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 au nom d'Allah, Bismillah, Bismillah, in the name of Allah.
Gathered here are Muslims in Education District 4 for their Ramadan lecture. The lecture focused on managing ethnic and religious diversity for national prosperity.
If you look around, you see that during this period, people are more godly. People do things, they try not to sin. And there's not a particular time not to sin, and is there a particular time to sin. So all those good things that we are doing now, during this Ramadan period, should be kept on, even at the end of the Ramadan, so that we continue to do good to our fellow human beings. So that way, I know God will be happy with us.
Other speakers emphasized the importance of the period.
The fact that we are not the same in our tongues and our tribes are the divine manifestation of God. That's the way God wanted it. If I'd wanted us all to be one country, one language, one religion, one tribe, He will have made it so. That He didn't make it so was because He's a God of variety. And for that, mindful of that, we must be able to respect these diversities as a source of strength, not as weakness.
When you are a Muslim, you are fasting, you need to be patient, you need to be accommodating. Honestly, you need to be friendly. And you need to, submit yourself. You need to be humble in every area of life. And when you meet people, you wouldn't want to know whether this is a Christian, this is a Muslim. You need to be friendly with everybody. And that's exactly is what God has taught us with this Ramadan. Love among human beings.
The major thing I learned from this lecture is that when there is cooperation amongst different tribes, different students, different nations, different religion, different ethnic groups, there's going to be love, prosperity, and continual progress in the country.
At Education District 6, students were advised to seek God, be focused, and be rightly guided.
I want to tell the students to, number one, face their study. That's their primary purpose, being a student. So after that, they have to disregard all the improper behaviors, especially now that is rampant in our society. A lot of is happening, so I will implore them to take to the lecture of Ramadan.
They also emphasized the importance of mercy and forgiveness.
This period is unique in the life of a Muslim in particular and mankind in general. It is a period where we exercise self-restraint, self-discipline, self-evaluation, and self-control for us to transform to the next level.
Muslims were reminded to worship God diligently and abide by the tenets of the Islamic tradition or prayers.
4 reasons for Ramadan is to get closer to God, is to purify our soul, to have the belief about Almighty God, and to observe our prayers and be more closer to God actually. And today's lecture taught me about what to do during Ramadan and after Ramadan.
These Ramadan lectures are expected to help Muslims build healthy relationships, resist from evil acts, and promote the conscious use of the social media for positive gains.